Hey, good evening, everybody. Hope that you are doing well. Welcome to the show. Programming reminder tomorrow, 3 o'clock, Sean Salisbury. We'll talk the NFL, we'll talk some college football. And at 4 o'clock, Rhino and Sacktown and Jerry Reynolds join me. So that's tomorrow at 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock. Don't forget about the King's Court that Ryan and Sacktown has daily. You can subscribe to the channel. You'll always know when we are doing content. NBA tonight, the Nuggets beat the Grizzlies 122-110. Dallas over the injury-riddled, injury-depleted Pelicans 132-91. The Lakers are leading the Jazz. 3 minutes left in the first, 25-12. And the Cavaliers finally lose. Boston at home edges the Cavaliers 120-117 for their first loss of the year. All right, the NBA last 2-minute report. A lot of people were talking about this on the postgame show last night about Dyson Daniels. The league confirmed he did not step out of bounds and he did not foul De'Aaron Fox. So we had a lot of people calling up, criticizing the officials, particularly at the end of the game. And the last 2-minute report, no mistakes made by the officials. So, and I did a rant on this today. At some point, you got to stop blaming the officials when the Kings lose. You just do. It's getting old. You know, the Kings lost to Atlanta because they didn't have Malik Monk, they didn't have DeMar DeRozan, and they didn't have Domantas Sabonis. That's why they lost. They didn't lose because of the officials. I mean, come on now, right? Come on. All right, here's your link if you want to call the show. You can get on and we can talk about anything you want here on our Open Forum Tuesday. The Jets have fired their general manager, Joe Douglas. He is out. Got to blame somebody. Might as well blame him. The Giants, they're a mess. They are going to go with, well, Tommy Cutlets. It's the only reason why people would watch the game. A local kid being quarterback for the Giants. It's not going to matter. The Giants are a bad team. They're going to lose regardless. So it really doesn't matter. All right, what do you want to talk about? You want to talk NFL? You want to talk NBA? Have you looked at the standings in the NBA? Have you checked out how things stand? Oklahoma City playing currently, they're 11-3. Golden State lost to the Clippers. They're 10-3. The Lakers with a win over the Jazz tonight, which should happen, would go to 10-4. The Rockets are 10-5. Denver won earlier over Memphis. Denver's 8-5. Phoenix at some point will get Kevin Durant back. Without him, they're really struggling. They've lost 4 in a row. They're 9-6. Minnesota 8-6. The Clippers, the Grizzlies, the Kings, the Mavericks, all 8-7. Next up for Sacramento will be the Clippers. But it just goes to show you, like people say, well, you know, game in November is not that important. Wrong. The games are very important. All right. Don't think otherwise. All right. Just don't, because you're going to be fooling yourself there. All right. All right. So the Clippers play the Magic tomorrow before they play Sacramento. When we talked about this, the Kings desperately needing some time off. And let's hope that they can be at full strength. When you look at their upcoming schedule, it goes Clippers on the road, back home to play Brooklyn, and then the very next night, Oklahoma City. That does not bode well. 2 days off at Minnesota, team you've lost to twice. All right? When I say 2 days off, 1 day off, 2 days later. At Minnesota, 2 days later at Portland, 2 days later home to San Antonio, who beat you by 20, 2 days later at home to Houston, 2 days later at Memphis, next night at San Antonio, Utah at home, and then you have the Lakers on the 20th and the 22nd. Or I should say the 19th and the 21st in Sacramento. Dobro jutro, Baki. How are you? Baki, you are exactly right. All the games matter. You're exactly right. Do I think the 49ers are going to make the playoffs? Only if they win the division. Only one team's going out of that division. They better beat Green Bay this week. That's for sure. That's a bad loss they had to Seattle. That's a bad loss. That is a bad loss. You know, when you look at the schedule this week in the National Football League, and I'm looking at the Thursday night game, Pittsburgh at Cleveland. Then you have Minnesota at Chicago. Detroit is at Indy. New England travels to Miami. Bucks take on the Giants at MetLife. Dallas at Washington. Kansas City at Carolina. Houston at home against Tennessee. The Broncos are at the Raiders. Told you about the 49ers at the Packers. That's the late window on Fox. Arizona travels to Seattle. Philadelphia is at the Rams, your Sunday night game. And Monday night has Baltimore at the Chargers. Atlanta, Buffalo, Cincinnati, New Orleans, the Jets, Jacksonville with buys this week. So that's your schedule in the National Football League. All right, what about some questions on the chat line? Or you can call the show. Let me give you that link again. All right, give us a holler if you want to get in on the program. Oklahoma City is getting back into the game against San Antonio. It is now 80-70 with 4 minutes left to go in the third. And at the end of one, the Lakers lead the Jazz 34-22. So you get updated, all right? What do I think of DeMar DeRozan's back? I'm not sure if there's been any update, but 3 games means a lot for back tightness. Nick, I can't answer that question because I don't know. I don't know. Keegan Murray, a good player, but maybe try to trade him for Brandon Ingram. The problem with Brandon Ingram is he gets hurt a lot. All right? Let's see if Grant can do a rant on the late, great Dennis Green subject, the Kings who we thought they were after 15 games. That's a good question. So I'll put it out there for you on the stream. Through 15 games, is this where you thought the Kings would be? Do you think that they have underachieved? What do you think? What do you think? Do you think that the Kings right now at a game under 500 have underachieved? Now, you can blame injuries, I guess. I don't like to do that. I think that all teams at some point are going to go through injuries. So I don't want to use that. And the injuries really haven't cost them that much, in my opinion. But what I would say is I thought they would be better. I thought they would be better than they are right now. A game over 500 through 15. What's the biggest loss for the Kings right now? DeRozan, Monk, or Sabonis? I can't answer that question for this reason, and it's a very good one. All right? Is that Sabonis rarely misses any time. I saw how bad the Kings were last year without Malik Monk. So, and DeRozan's new. They miss Monk a lot. All right, so here is your update on the injuries, all right? We know that Monk has missed 4 games, all right? And he has been cleared for individual workouts on the court, all right? We know he didn't play last night. DeMar DeRozan, all right? They say, the Kings, that he made, this came out yesterday, by the way, before the Hawks game, that he made significant improvement, and he also is doing individual on-the-court workouts. And Sabonis has made significant improvement, and he also was cleared for individual on-court workouts. That would tell me, barring a setback, that all 3 will play against the Clippers. That's what that means to me. I'd be surprised if it's not that. Now, I would also add this. Are the injuries, particularly to Sabonis and DeRozan, due to attrition and how many minutes Mike Brown is using these guys? Ryan put up a great graphic a couple of nights ago right here on If You Don't Like That. That 4 of the Kings players were in the top 12 in the NBA in minutes played. Think about that. And 2 of them out with back issues. That would concern me. That would concern me. Now, we were talking about this last night. Maybe a blessing with these injuries is that the bench got some forced playing time. They probably wouldn't have been playing this much, but they were forced into action and they did well. And maybe they found themselves, and Mike Brown now feels a little bit more confident going to the bench. My biggest concern with Sacramento right now is this. De'Aaron Fox has shown in his career that he's not able to play a full year. Just is what it is. He's not able to play 82. My question is, when De'Aaron Fox misses action, and I hope it doesn't happen, but I'm being realistic here. When De'Aaron Fox is out of the lineup, meaning when he is not able to play, who's going to run the show? How's that going to work? Who's going to pick up the slack and keep the ball rolling, so to speak, when Fox is not able to play? Let's look at games played for Fox. He's played in every game this year. Last year, he missed 8 games. The year before that, 9 games. The year before that, 23 games. The year before that, he missed 24. All right? Well, I take that back. That may have been the shortened year, so I'll keep that back. He's only played 80 or more once, and it was his second year. Even in his rookie year, he missed 9 games. So if I'm going to go by his history of games missed, I can't count on him to be there for 82 games. I'd like to see it, but I got to be realistic here. What happens when and if Fox is out of the lineup? Ask yourself that question. Hey, don't forget about your Thanksgiving plans at Bennett's. That's right. Sacramento, Roseville, the West Side Grill, 11 in the morning to 7 in the evening. Enjoy your Thanksgiving meal at Bennett's. It will be awesome. You go to Bennett'sRestaurants.com to make a reservation. Remember, you can pick up your Thanksgiving dinner at Bennett's and enjoy it at home. That's an option for you. Either way, Bennett'sRestaurants.com will get you all the information you need for your Thanksgiving. Hard to believe, a week from Thursday. Check it out, Bennett'sRestaurants.com. Bennett's Prime Seafood and Steaks. I'm looking at the forecast. Wow, they got the bomb cyclones coming into the West Coast. I'm looking at the snowfall totals. Boy, if you're a skier, Thanksgiving break could be really, really good. But there's going to be a lot of rain in the Pacific Northwest and Northern California based on the weather model. So hang in there. I'm worried about Jerry going for his walks. He's going to have to walk inside. It'll be a treadmill a couple of days for Jerry Reynolds. Be a couple of days on the treadmill. Do I think with these injuries and the bench playing more, gaining chemistry, will it benefit the team in the long run? I don't know. I hope so, but time will tell. Time will tell. My issue with the Kings is, Ryan was talking about this with me a week ago. The easy part of the schedule, in our opinion, is in the rearview mirror. And the Kings were only 8-7. So when I'm looking at the schedule, like for instance, early December, you have San Antonio and Houston at home, at Memphis, at San Antonio, right? Middle of the month, right before Christmas, 2 games at home with the Lakers. Then Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers are in the final game before Christmas, right? Then to end the year, at the Lakers, home Dallas. Then you look at the schedule that we keep going over in January, right? I mean, you can start anywhere you want. But I'll just start with this, okay? The new year. Philadelphia at home, Memphis at home, at Golden State, next night, Miami at home. That's a brutal back-to-back. At Boston, at Chicago, at Milwaukee. Welcome home. The Houston Rockets are waiting for you. Washington, Golden State, at Denver, at the Knicks, at Brooklyn, at Philly, at Oklahoma City, at Minnesota, home Orlando. I mean, and then here's the other issue. You don't play New Orleans until February 13th. They might have everyone back by then. And all of a sudden, that looks like a completely different team. So, there is luck in the schedule. Then in March, I'm peeking ahead at Houston, at Dallas, at Denver. It's a brutal schedule. At Golden State, at Phoenix. Again, the dangerous thing about looking this far ahead in the schedule is injuries change everything, just like when the Kings played Phoenix, just like when teams right now are playing New Orleans. If you're playing New Orleans right now, it's an automatic win for the most part. All right? It's an automatic W. It is. I'll tell you what else is an automatic W is when you call New Works Plumbing for your plumbing needs and repairs, because they're awesome. And they are available around the clock. Go to sackserviceplumbing.com or call that number on your screen. New Works Plumbing, they've got a fix for you. Again, sackserviceplumbing.com. New Works Plumbing, they've got a fix for you. Let me update the NBA scoreboard for you. Spurs are up 93-77 on the Thunder. At some point, Chet Holmgren's absence is going to affect the Thunder, and I think it may already be happening. Lakers lead the Jazz 5 minutes gone by in the second quarter, 41-33. Again, we told you the Nuggets beat the Grizzlies and the Mavericks beat the Pelicans. Also, the Nets edged the Hornets 116-115, and the Cavs finally lost. The Celtics beat them 120-117. Wish we knew what is happening with Keegan. He's definitely not playing like himself of last year. No, offensively, he's not. Not at all. I'd be a little concerned. I thought, especially without DeRozan and Sabonis the last couple of games, I thought that's when Keegan would step up. No more excuses like there's not enough basketballs for him. He had the ball and didn't do anything with it. I don't know. I really don't. I would say this. I listened to Mike Brown last night, and he has the term, let it fly. I don't agree with that, by the way. I don't agree with the let it fly notion all the time. I think there's momentum swings, score, time of the game, and I'm not a believer that when you need a critical possession, that the first guy open should take the shot and let it fly. I'm not like that. I believe that in a crucial situation or in a momentum type of a swing that's going on, the other team has scored 8 straight, and you really need to settle down and make a basket. I don't believe that the mantra, let it fly, should be the way it is. I believe look for the biggest advantage on the floor and look for your best player and get him the freaking ball. Okay? Personally, that's my opinion. So I know Mike's philosophy. He's a very good coach, but I don't agree with it. I don't agree. If you're open, let it fly. No. When you need a basket and it's a momentum swing of a game, time and score, the flow of the game, no. You get the freaking ball to your best player, okay? And you let your best player create and either score or get to the foul line. That's how I would play it, my opinion. I'm not coaching the team. But to me, the Kings take too many inopportune shots from players that are ice cold. I don't want a player that's cold taking a shot because they're open. I want the guy that's making shots to get the ball and see if they can create a shot, see if they can get open. That's what I want. Okay? I want Keon Ellis last night shooting the ball instead of Keegan Murray. If Keegan Murray's open, okay, too bad. Get the ball to Keon because he's freaking hot. That's what I want. If Kevin Huerter last night is open, pass the freaking ball. You know why? Because you were horrible last night. You missed 9 of 10. Sorry. I know he's a shooter, but at some point, you don't have it. Get the ball to the guy that has the hot hand or is making shots. That's my opinion. Now, you might say, well, then why have him in the game if you don't want him to shoot? It's a good point. But I'm always looking for the player that has it going. They need to touch the ball. Grant, what do you think of my all-time team? LeBron, Jordan, Durant, Garnett, Kareem. Where's Magic? Where's Magic Johnson? Hello? Hello? Come on now. Come on. Have you forgot about him? Just asking. Just asking. Don't forget about Sunrise Landing, the newest residential community in Calusa from Blazona Development. That's right, that's Sunrise Landing. You get all the information you need by going to calusasunrise.com and check out the various models. Remember, there's no Melrose at Sunrise Landing, no homeowners, adjacent to the Calusa Golf and Country Club. 6 beautiful models to choose from, good access, I-5, Highway 45, Highway 20. Just go to calusasunrise.com. That's calusasunrise.com, and you'll get all the information you need at Sunrise Landing. I'm sorry, you got to have Magic Johnson on that team. LeBron can run the point. Magic Johnson needs to run the point. All right? Come on now. All right, let's get to Baki. Baki, let me get you on here. Hang on. How are you, sir? Good to have you on the show.
How are you, Rent?
I'm good. What's going on?
Nice to see you. Nice to see you. A lot of going on in the NBA, so I was waiting for the open forum because we don't have the Kings game now, and not that many people are waiting to call, maybe. So I'm grabbing the chance. So I have an interesting thing to ask you, but okay, maybe it will sound stupid more than interesting. I don't know, but you're gonna judge. But I think it can show us a very important fact. So the fact that the Kings are a very good team with a lot of quality. So my question for you is, can you name me one team in NBA? Okay, let me start like this. If we imagine NBA basketball is playing 4 against 4, so four players on the court instead of 5. Can you and Kings go on the court like Sabonis, DeRozan, Fox, and Malik. Can you name me one team in NBA which is better than them? What do you think?
Maybe Boston.
Can you please tell me those 4?
Well, it would be Brown, Tatum, and Holiday to start with.
Yep.
I don't know who the 4th would be because I don't have their roster in front of me. I mean, I'm Porzingis.
Yeah, Porzingis maybe.
That's pretty good. I don't know. I'm not a big believer in. I'm going to answer your question this way.
Yep.
In order to win a championship, and I'm not talking about the Kings, I'm talking about really any team, you need, generally speaking, a minimum of 2 All-Stars. Would you agree with that?
I agree.
Okay. Last year, the Kings didn't have any All-Stars on their team, but I think Sabonis was an All-Star, but he didn't make the team. I don't have a crystal ball any more than you do. I think that this year, it would be hard to imagine one of those guys not making the All-Star team.
Yeah, very hard. Very hard. And if you need to pick 2 of them out of those 3, Which two of you gonna pick?
Based on the first 15 games, probably
Yeah.
DeRozan and Sabonis.
Great. Yeah.
What about you?
Well, but I must think over, because maybe until 2-3 games. Okay, we know what Fox did in the last 2-3 games. We all know, but he did it without Demantas and without DeRozan. But if Fox can continue doing things like this, offensively and defensively, I don't know if Sabonis can stand alone, because now I'm looking at Fox big time in continuing in the season. I think that first 12, 13 games, Fox was sleepy for me, and you know it. I
I know.
told you
Me too.
in previous. So he woke up definitely, and I'm so glad that he did it. The moment I was pissed off one of the games.
Yeah, but did he
before,
wake up
you
because
remember.
DeRozan wasn't on the floor? And DeRozan and him, as good as they are, maybe aren't the best thing in the world for each other. Or let me rephrase that: DeRozan may not be the best thing for Fox. I mean, I'm just asking a question.
Yep, it looks like to me, it's looking like they're gonna. It's somehow they're gonna try to push hard, all three of them right now. I know. I mean, Malik Monk always pushing 120% of his possibilities. You know, Malik Monk is a I mean, crazy energy in that guy. I never saw the guy with more energy. Never mind if he's gonna play 5 minutes or he's gonna play 20 minutes.
Understand?
Yeah. So you can count of Malik Monk to give you everything. He's gonna give you life for the game. But those three, if they're gonna compare. I mean, I don't know. It's I'm looking at some kind of competition between three of them. So
Here's what I know: they're 8-7, and I look at the record, and their record is not very good. And their record right now would not even qualify for the playoffs.
Yeah, but okay, we started. It was the beginning. Now all those injuries, along not only in Kings but all over the league. And speaking about that,
well, the
what's your
Warriors played 3 games, or was it 4 games without Steph Curry, and they won all but one of them. So, I mean, there are teams that have a significant injury and deal with it. There are teams that don't, like Phoenix. They lose Kevin Durant, and they've lost 4 in a row. You know.
What do you think about all those injuries? Can you?
I don't know.
It's a little bit strange that guys who played on Olympics are all healthy and they are all playing, and all the other guys are injured. So many
Well, I don't know
injuries.
about that.
I don't. Yeah.
Well, I think you may have said that wrong.
Why?
I mean, there are a lot of Olympians that are hurt.
Yeah, but maybe
Kevin Durant's hurt. Bogdan Bogdanovic just came back. He was in the Olympics. I mean,
no. I'm speaking about USA team.
Oh, USA team. Well, Kevin Durant, he's hurt.
Yeah, only Durant. But I don't know.
Basketball is not first of all, there aren't a lot of injuries in basketball. I mean, it's not like the National Football League. Here's the point that I want to ask, and I don't have any way of knowing the answer to this. Well, are the back issues from DeRozan and Sabonis a result of them playing 40-plus minutes on most nights?
Well, great question. I never saw the starters playing such a big minutes in start of the season, in first 12, 13 games.
Recipe for disaster.
Yeah, definitely. But globally, I don't remember I ever saw the season with a lot of injuries like this all over the NBA.
I know it's been crazy.
Yeah, this is very, very strange thing to happen. I don't know why. So you can take in any team, you have at least one guy who's hurt. So I don't know what's gonna happen.
I'm gonna bring on Ryan. Ryan's joining us here. Hey, buddy, go ahead. I know. First of all, you had a graphic a week ago on this topic, and we're weighing in on all of this. So anyway, welcome to the stream, man. How are you this evening?
I'm doing great. Happy to be here. Nape, Spocky, hope you guys are well.
Yeah. What can we do for you? Get
What's
in,
up,
get
Ryan?
involved in this conversation.
Yeah, well, you know what? You guys keep this one up because I want to start another one that you already hit on, Grant. So go ahead, Buck.
Go ahead, Baki. We'll finish this and then we'll get to Ryan's topic. Go ahead.
Okay, Rhino, you can jump in from the bench. I'm going out.
You're tapping out. Your back hurt? Too many minutes?
Yeah, I'm gonna save myself for the Friday, so
Okay.
I'm not gonna risk my injury. Definitely.
Baki, you take care, buddy.
You take care, Nate.
How about that? We go to the bench. Ryan's
We go
now
to the bench.
on the floor. He's going to get extended minutes. What's going on, buddy?
Thanks, Baki. I didn't get my full warm-up routine. Nothing much. You said something that resonated with me, and it's something I've been looking at with the numbers and trying to make sense of it. The let it fly mentality, Grant. There's things that go around the let it fly mentality, the staples of this basketball team. And a couple of those. Pace. Pace is towards the middle of the pack this year. Let's just put it that way. It's not as fast as the Kings want it. Offensive rebounds this year, they're down over 16%. The Kings are 27th in the NBA. It's a big difference. And so Mike Brown, and you said you listened to it, keeps hanging his hat on. Look at what we've done from year 1 and year 2. Well, the bottom line is the threes were down last year. Year 1, that team was never supposed to play that way, Grant. And so many times we see teams come into this building at the G1C and target mismatches, something we rarely see from the Kings. And so does there need to be structure? Is there an argument there that structure needs to be put in place for some of the guys on this team? Tailor your plan to the guys you have.
It's a great point. Let me back up first to one of the things you said regarding last year. I think the numbers are skewed a little bit to the downside because of the significant amount of time that was missed by your 2 3-point shooters, primarily Kevin Huerter and Malik Monk. So that will reduce the number of attempts, okay? But this year, clearly, without a shadow of the doubt, the team is playing differently in terms of the threes. Your eyes can tell you that, and the stats back that up. So what's the point of you used the word structure. So what would you like to see based on knowing the roster after we've seen them for 15 games?
Yeah.
You have a pretty good idea of what they have and what they don't have. What do you think is the best way to play for this team?
Well, I think you need to find a little bit of something in the middle, Grant. I think Coach Brown, who's admittedly said year 1, he called plays a lot of the time, or at least threw some stuff out there looking for mismatches. You know, one thing that worked really well last year, Grant, was high-low action. We haven't seen it once this year with Keegan Murray and Domantas Sabonis. Sometimes it would be HB. I would like to see more targeting at the mismatches, both offensively, defensively. The Kings did that wonderfully in the play-in game against the Warriors, held Klay Thompson to no points. Yeah. So I don't know exactly what it looks like, but what I do know, DeMar DeRozan, as you said, back hurt, Sabonis, back hurt. Is this style, if you are going to be playing this many minutes, conducive to getting the best out of your players? And I think really what I'm looking for is Coach Brown to take a little bit of a different approach. I think you have to with this group.
Yeah. And again, I heard him last night use the term let it fly several times. That's his big term, right? And he's telling his guys, let it fly, let it fly. Mike Brown's mantra, and I'm not saying it's 100% of the time, is if you're open, let it fly. That's what he tells his guys. I'm not a believer in that all the time, but I go back to the big picture, and that is they're 8-7. You always look at the point differential, which is not bad for the Kings. So that's a real positive for me. But I also look at their upcoming schedule that I went over and some of the stretches where they're going to have trouble beating those teams playing like this, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's going to be hard. Now, there is a little pocket in the schedule. So you talked about some of them, but then when we get towards the beginning of December, they have an opportunity here. They've got December 6th. They're at San Antonio. Then you're at Utah. You've got LA twice, and then you've got the Pacers.
Okay, stop right there for 1 second.
Yes.
That game at San Antonio is the night after you're playing Memphis.
It's a tough one.
Well,
it is a tough.
We saw what happened the last time Sacramento played the Spurs on the second night of a back-to-back.
It is, but we've seen this team respond differently. That would be one game out of the entire sample size for back-to-backs. They have not been terrible on the second night of a back-to-back this year. They've been
That's
competitive. I mean, Grant, the 7 losses have been by a combined total of 14 points. They were losing on average by 14 points last year. At this
Very good
time.
point. That's a good point. But go ahead.
So I guess my question for you is, because you've been around the team so long, you've been around NBA basketball and the league, how much structure are you used to seeing with a professional team? Would this be abnormal with Coach Brown not necessarily calling as many plays or having different sets that the team goes into?
When I watch the team play, my biggest issue is it's too stagnant too often.
Yeah.
That's my biggest issue. And how many times did we go on the air on the stream last year talking about, gee, the Kings had 30 or more assists, right?
So many.
Right.
It was
and
the formula.
This year, we're not saying that. It is a different style. I sometimes get swayed by what you bring up to me, and that's the point differential, which was in the red for much of last year. And this year it's in the green. And it's pretty decent. So is it just a matter of winning more of those close games that they've been losing, as you pointed out, in their losses? Would it be that simple? And then we wouldn't be having this conversation, and we wouldn't be really trying to analyze their style of play, and do they need to be more structured or this or that? I will just say this. De'Aaron Fox is a Lamborghini, and I don't want De'Aaron Fox being turned into a 4-cylinder vehicle. Okay, sure. I need De'Aaron Fox be the Energizer Bunny on the floor. All right, I need him to be the Road Runner. Beep beep. All right, that's what I need from De'Aaron Fox, and I think when he's playing like that, he's the most effective. And I also want to see, assuming that DeRozan is back with Sabonis, and I think they will be for the next game, and what will that mean for Fox? Are we going to go back to the last week De'Aaron Fox before he went off for 60 and 49? I'm not expecting him to score 60 every night. That's not the point. But I'm talking about style. You talk about structure, style. What's this now going to mean for De'Aaron Fox with everyone coming back?
Well, I think it's going to mean the fact that De'Aaron's going to continue touching the paint. It's just a matter of how you space out around him. You've seen the best of what De'Aaron Fox does, Grant. But what I also think it means is you look at possibly staggering minutes. We see a lot of Fox and Monk on the floor at the same time. And I think with the amount of depth at that position that's usually effective and important to the Kings, you want to have those guys separate, because you can give two sides of Sabonis. When you have Sabonis on the floor with Fox, he can clean up the misses. He can get the lobs at the rim. He can do those little things. When you have him on the floor with Monk, you get the pick and rolls. And that is also giving you a change of pace. It's giving the defense a different look. So it's constantly keeping them a little bit on their toes. DeMar, to me, and you keep posing the question, what do you do DeMar wise? Because DeMar likes to have the ball in his hands a lot. And clearly the Kings are at the best, as you said, with Fox with the ball in his hands.
It's something that's going to have to get straightened out real soon, because again, I go back to the record. They are 8-7, which right now is not very good in the West. You're also, you're 2 or 3 games from being in the top 4, but that was the same thing that we went through last year. And again, I chronicled this before you came on. At some point, I'm worried about De'Aaron Fox going into the lane, stepping on an ankle, whatever. Fox has proven that he's not able to play every game. What happens when he's out?
Well, that's my concern too. I mean, one, the team is not going to be nearly as good. But 2, if you look at how the team played the last couple games, they didn't really change much from what they do with the personnel that was much different, running DHOs with Orlando Robinson, DHOs with Alex Len. And that's where I say the tweaking and the adjustments that I'm not really seeing a lot of, and I would like to, because you can do different things. De'Aaron Fox can pretty much do anything you ask him to do. But if you go a long period of time without him, that's on Monty McNair. You've said for how long, Grant, they need a true backup point guard. And I like what Jordan McLaughlin's doing, but he ain't it.
No, he's not it. I'll tell you what is it, though, and that's EDH Motors, Automotive Reimagined. You get all the information at edhmotors.com, and David and Adam will be there for you because they offer new vehicle brokerage. They also offer vehicle consignments where they sell your vehicle for you. And, of course, they can buy your car and sell pre-owned vehicles. You'll take delivery of your vehicle at the beautiful Auto Lounge at the El Dorado Hills Town Center. You don't have to go to a dealership. You're not dealing with all the sales pressure. You're not getting pushed into the F&I office. This is just a long overdue new concept. David and Adam have decades of experience in the automotive industry. Just go, again, to edhmotors.com and get all the information you need on EDH Motors, Automotive Reimagined. You bring up some really good points, and I don't know if there's just an easy answer, but now with Orlando Robinson in the mix, and I think all three players coming back unofficially for the next game, we're going to get a look, hopefully, for a period of time at a full roster, and let's see what that looks like.
Yeah, I'm with you. And this time off, imperative for them.
Yes.
For this time of the season, that is a lot of time. And I think Orlando could do a lot of the things, those little things the Kings have been looking for. I mean, he's not going to be the next Jordan by any means, but he brings you a little bit more physicality and takes a little bit of that burn, a little bit of that rub off of some of the other guys like Fox.
Let me update you on a couple of scores going on in the NBA. We told you about the Cavaliers finally losing a game, but the Spurs, with 3 minutes left, are up on the Thunder by 8. Again, the Spurs are a team, and Jerry talked about this. We've talked. They're going to beat good teams this year. You know, there's no layups when you're playing the Spurs, right?
No Wemby tonight either.
That's
They're
right.
doing it without Wemby.
No Wemby tonight. How about that? At the half, the Lakers lead the Jazz 57-44. So I'm going to assume the Lakers are going to win that game and get their 10th win of the year. The Nuggets beat the Grizzlies 122-110, and the Mavs, they won 3 in a row now, and they beat the Pelicans 132-91. But yeah, how about that for the Spurs? I think the Thunder, you cannot tell me that not having Chet Holmgren for the next 3 months or so is not going to affect this team. It has to.
Oh, it changes how you guard Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Absolutely.
Changes the game for him. Now you can bring somebody off a little bit. You can hedge, and they did not have that liberty because you tossed the ball anywhere near that rim, Chet was going to get it.
We appreciate the questions here on the stream. DeMar is a post-up player. He doesn't come off screens too good. He can drive a little bit. DeMar does a lot of things, man.
Donald, I disagree with you. The first preseason game that the Kings had, and he went 5 for 5, 5 of 6. He was coming off a little curl.
Yes.
It was a little pin down curl, and the defense, they didn't know what to do because you had the ball in Sabonis's hands. You got Fox on the other side of the court, and I don't think we've seen that a lot here early on in the season.
Grant, do I like the offense with Fox and DeMar on the floor or with only one of them on the floor? They have to be on the floor at the same time because they're both playing in the high 30s and they're both really good, and you're not as good with one of them not on the floor. So you have to have them both on the floor. As Jerry Reynolds always says, you win with good players, and if your good players are not on the floor, you're not going to win as much. So, yes, they're fine together.
Could you imagine being asked to guard a pick and roll between the two of them?
This team, when I look at their pieces, I'm like, okay, they're really good. They should be better than 8 and 7. And let's see if they can get on a roll now with a complete team.
Yeah, and some fresh legs, indeed, a little bit of new energy. I think you got the bench now that has a little bit more confidence than they did before. And I think Mike Brown probably has a little more confidence on them. But guarding the 3, Grant, it's what it comes down to. I watched the film again from last night. Yeah. It's one thing that you're 28th in the league at allowing the highest 3-point percentage to your opponents, but then the attempts, that's just 3rd in the league, 3rd worst in the league.
Yeah,
that's the thing that they've got to get figured out.
Yeah. All right. Tomorrow, Sean Salisbury at 3, and then Ryan and Jerry will be with me at 4 o'clock. Right? We got a couple nice shows tomorrow.
It'd be a fun time. Kings Roundtable. We had a great conversation last week about this. Can't wait to talk to Jerry some more.
Yeah, that's going to be fun tomorrow at 4. Thanks for popping on, buddy. I'm going to wrap up the show. And
My pleasure.
Hang on. Don't go anywhere. And everyone else, thank you very much. Appreciate you being here on my Open Forum Tuesday. Appreciate the calls. Appreciate Rhino. And we'll see you tomorrow at 3 o'clock with Sean Salisbury. Bye-bye.